Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending Tableau Server Admin Virtual User Group. My name is Mark Wu. I'm a Tableau Server Admin, 3-time Tsm Master, and this Server and Admin Virtual User Group lead. Today's topic is about Tableau Server Upgrade. I have awesome guest speaker, John Rijo. He is one of the best server admins. We plan to cover 4 topics together. I will start talk about deciding upgrade. Then Rijo will talk about the pre-upgrade tasks. And during the upgrade, Tsm Command, things can monitor, can do. And what if upgrade fails? Just some quick logistics. Everyone is muted during the whole session for better recording quality. Please use QA button to submit questions at any time. We'll try to have few logical stops to answer some of your quick questions, but we will have a dedicated QA time at the end. Do we record this session? Yes, the recording will be available. Hopefully next Monday or next week at the Tableau community. I'm always asked where you can find the recording. I gave you a shortcut. If you go to my blog site, enterprisetableau.com, I have a link called Server Admin Tag. The link has all the previous recordings of this forum. Let's get started. Today's topic is around the Tableau server upgrade. I love Tableau's pace of innovation. In every single quarter, I can always expect awesome new features came out of Tableau releases. Today, we don't plan to talk about those new features. I think next month, I will dive into some of the big features, focusing on 21.2, like Ask Data Lens, collections, and so on. But today, we want to talk about server upgrade. As a server admin, I feel that I'm in between Tableau dev team's new features and my users on the server. Although Tableau dev team has released new features, unfortunately, my users on the server will not be able to leverage any of those unless server is upgraded. It always love and hate situation when we talk about upgrade the server. On one side, we all love those new features. On the other side, unfortunately, for every single upgrade, it's kind of always associated with risks, efforts, and so on. Hopefully, today's talk will help you to find a way to reduce the risks and less efforts. And you can have more confidence to upgrade your server more often. Next question would be which version of server you go to when you decide to upgrade. If you are thinking to upgrade your server in next like 2 months or so, my strong recommendation is go to the latest 21.2. That can bring in the latest, greatest feature to your users. I know some organizations are more conservative about the version choices. I'll show you how do I choose my version. Rijo and I, we've been managing relatively large servers. As you can see, we manage 2 super large servers. On the left side, with about 150 core server, we upgrade 3 or 4 times a year. Which version we go? We go to the maintenance.1 version, which means we start test with the .0 version. A test cycle is about a month. Then we go production with .1. On the right side, the server has a little more constraint. We do twice a year. And also we space it out with the left side server. So we go with the more like .3 twice a year. So at least once for a year, for within a year, we upgrade together 5 times a year, those 2 servers. Given this, I'll invite Rijo, who will talk about pre-upgrade task, during the upgrade task, and what if upgrade fails. Rijo, are you able to join us?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start my share. You can start yours. Rijo, feel free to share slides.
Yep. I'm just getting there.
Yeah, we see that. Thank you. Or you do it other way around. You share your other.
Okay.
You swap. Can you swap?
Okay, 1 second. Is it good? This is going. Sorry, guys. Just.
You're sharing this screen. Yeah, you're sharing different screen. Yeah, okay.
It's going.
Yeah, awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Finally, I'm able to figure it out. And really sorry for that. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I know there are people across the globe. So good morning. Before starting, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Rijo John, and I'm here today to talk along with Mark on the second part of the upgrade discussion. So let me start introducing myself. As I said, I'm Rijo John. I have 12+ years of experience in BI platform, initially with Bob J, and from last 8 to 9 years actively working on Tableau and Tableau server admin and work on designing. So one thing you can see, I love to design and implement solutions. Sometimes these solutions are creative, sometimes a simple one, but whenever. So I try to pitch in like whenever we come to an initial conclusion that we don't have a solution. That's where I love to pitch in and get some creative ideas. So if you might be wondering what kind of ideas, so I'll just giving you a like solution. Like I'm giving an example. Think about a solution where you have a Tableau platform with 2 user authentication mechanisms. Scripting of Tableau repositories or the configuration file, workaround solutions for Tableau products. So these are like few things we actively work a lot. And I've been having like 5+ years of experience in AWS cloud technologies as well. So what are we discussing here? It's when we talk about upgrade, it's a big topic. It varies based on the organizations to organization, and sometimes, usually in an organization, the decision of an upgrade happens only when you reach onto a compromising state between the new features and the risk efforts and downtime. Okay, our goal was to help you understand, or I would say take precautionary, necessary, proactive measures to minimize this risk effort downtime component so that you don't have to compromise on new features. Okay, and like so that you can perform like 2 to 3 or even 4 or 5 upgrades a year. It's all up to you guys. So I categorized my discussion into into 3 key areas. Okay, so it would be what to do pre-upgrade, what you should be doing during the upgrade. When I say here upgrade, that means when you do the upgrade tsm command, and what if the upgrade fails. So we will be focusing on 3 areas. We won't discuss in details, but I will try my best to explain you guys or give you a context like how we do or how can it help you. So what to do pre-upgrade. So when sorry. So pre-upgrade. So during a pre-upgrade, there are like a lot of things which we do. So first important thing, strategic upgrade approach. Okay, when I say strategic, that means strategic. It will have like n number of things regarding the communication, how you are documenting the execution, upgrade execution, planning, user testing phase. There will be n. So it all varies based on organization to organization. So I won't get into the detail of that, but mostly I would be focusing on few testing areas and see how we do it differently. So during testing, testing also varies. So what we recommend is the key important thing when it comes to testing is you need to test the upgrade in a prod-like environment and the data. When we say that means is you need to have an environment where you have almost equivalent number of nodes like production and the same data content. Because if you don't test that, then you will end up in like unknown situations where you are not. There are multiple issues which happens related to data. So you have to do a test in an environment which is equivalent to production. Ensure in that environment, ensure all your extracts are, like you run all your extracts and compare the failure. Okay, so analysis is really required. There is no point doing something, but if you don't analyze the data. So run your extract, try to load your workbooks and see what is the failure rate and what is the average execution time, and make sure that ensure that you don't see any difference. Another thing when it comes to testing, so an operational and an engineering team of Tableau, it would be very difficult for them to test each and every use case which is there in a workbook. So make the publishers accountable for their workbook test validation. Give them a time, like give a 1 month or like 20 days, 30 days. It all depends upon your group. Give them time and make them accountable for the test case. Okay. And sometimes we do over test, so no need to. Definitely you have to put some stress, but you need to do smart testing. And the second thing, now a few things which I've seen a lot of server admin missing is when we start the upgrade, when let's say there are two areas and two things which we do. In fact, like there are two commands where we run when you do upgrade. First, you install the RPM packages and then you run the upgrades. But so usually what we do, server admin, they do, okay, they go stop the server or they just install the scripts. The thing which we really miss, and based on my experience, is like a pre-platform health check before running the TSM commands. Okay, TSM commands of installing RPM as well as the upgrade command. So why I focus on that is because if, let's say, if you run the TSM upgrade command and if there is a Tableau service which is in an error state, then your upgrade will fail. Okay, and you know that once you run the upgrade script and if it fails, then there is no solution. Okay, you have to uninstall it and restore it from the backup. So the discussion, like as I said, the topic we are discussing is like how to like reduce this risk so that your upgrade doesn't fail, okay, and you don't have any issue. So first, verify the Tableau service state. Okay, check all the services whether they are in a healthy state. Okay, make sure that Tableau's any of the service is not in a degraded state. Sometimes you usually go to the TSM page and you check the status at the top and you see, oh, everything is good, stop. No, don't do that. Just go inside, see, run 2-3 times and see whether any service is going up and down. Okay, sometimes when a service is restarted, the status changes to stop and you think the server is in a stop state. Don't do that. So check it like 2-3 times. What is the status of each service? Check each process's log. Okay, that is very important. Check for anything like whether the process is getting restarted, whether it is getting crashed or anything. So usually you will, like a simple example, if you want, I mean, if it's like, you might be asking like how you will say, how can you quickly check whether the service was restarted? Okay, so every process in Tableau or any application, they will, like any Java application, they will have an std out file log. So if you see an std out log file very frequently getting updated, that means your service is getting restarted, or there is an update in that, like there is something going on. So quickly check, read the log file and see if you can do anything. and then as I talked about service caching, then make sure that you have enough storage. Okay, that is something which is really important. Like sometimes you think the Tableau has a documentation. There is an online documentation which helps you calculate the storage. Okay, so make sure that you go through that documentation and calculate based on your architecture, based on your number of like services, based on the number of file store you have, based on the number of Postgres you have. There is a rough estimation on the storage calculation. Go through that and may ensure that you have enough storage space. Also verify antivirus, firewall. It all varies to organization to organization. So just make sure that you verify that like your antivirus or firewall is not causing an issue. How to do that? Check your antivirus, get your the OS team, involve your OS team, and just ask them to just scan the antivirus logs, and it will definitely tell you whether it is scanning Tableau directories or not. Now comes what to do. The second part of the topic is what to do during an upgrade TSM command. Okay, so usually we what we do is, okay, where you run the install the RPM you run the RPM command, and then you run the upgrade command. You don't have to, like, I mean, you think, okay, we can't do anything. Okay, it's running. Okay, we have to just wait for that command to finish. Okay, this is a really crucial step where a lot of admins miss, and this is where I focus a lot and ensure that there is no failure of the upgrade TSM command. So okay, so monitor the Tableau logs. Okay, when I say monitor the Tableau logs, what to monitor? Okay, so the thing is, this is a completely different kind of like skill set which an admin has to develop. When somebody asks you like, okay, can you read the log file? Okay, definitely it's a text file, you open it, read. But the main question is, are you understanding what is there in the log file? Okay, how that process is working, how the calls are happening. So Tableau and any communication like viewing a dashboard or any activity, it's not done by a single process. Okay, so it's a chain, it's a linking chain between multiple processes. So are you like, which process is sending the request to which one? Are you able to understand from the logs? That is really key. So how do you develop that skill? Is understanding that various backend technologies used behind the Tableau processes. Okay, when I say that, as an example, like the gateway, the application server. Okay, what Tableau is using is they are using the backend Apache family products which are there. Okay. So like the Tomcats are there, Tomcat. So if you know about Tomcat, like not detail, but if you know like how it is deployed, how it is configured, how are the settings, it will really help you read the log file. Another example is like the Tableau repository. It's a Postgres database. If you understand database, if you know how the setting is done, how the custom configuration in a Postgres, how to optimize, like talk with if you have a DBA in your organization, consult the DBA if you don't know, like how to optimize the Postgres database. So, so these are the things, like if you know the backend technologies, it will really help you understand or read the logs. Another is like Zookeeper, the Elasticsearch, right? These are the open source products which Tableau is using. So I mean, due to these, like knowing these backend technologies, we have solved like so many product defects with our like workaround solution, either by updating configuration files or like updating the jar files. Sorry, I'm getting off track. Sometimes you get too excited to share what we do. Okay, so coming back to the upgrade stuff. So upgrade, the maintenance command, right? I mean, usually you don't see anything when you run the install RPM command, because that's pretty straightforward. The most of the time, even if it fails, you have the option to retry, and most of the time it fails with dependencies or few OS related things. So this installation of RPM errors are easily captured in an equivalent like the testing environment. So I don't like pay much attention to this RPM thing, because I know it can be fixed within like 30 minutes. So it won't be that complicated. Okay. Second, the upgrade TSM command. So the upgrade TSM command, I usually think in three phases. Okay, so when you run the moment you run the upgrade TSM command, there are you might have seen there are like 7 to 8 jobs, internal jobs, okay, which are like trigger. You might have not noticed that, oh, job ID this is running, job ID this is running now. So I categorize. I mean, I treat it in like three phases. So first phase is the initial information. The moment you run, it tries to capture some information, get the things, get the cluster configurations, all those things. So initial information. During that time, if your upgrade TSM command fails, then no, you don't have to worry. You don't, because it will bring your system back to its original state. Okay, it's just so when you don't have to do a live monitoring at that time. So so if there is a failure, take some time, go to the respective logs. You can easily get the details about the issue and the tab and admin controller log for this phase. Okay, because it has not reached any other service. It was the tab admin controller is just analyzing. So 95% of time you will see what exactly happened in that phase. You will see it in the tab admin controller log. Next phase would be executing the actual executing the upgrade job, okay, internally, okay, inside the upgrade TSM command. I think it starts actual upgrade by taking the backup of the Postgres. That's the first thing. Okay, so that is the part, that is the phase from where you need to do a live kind of monitoring of the logs. Okay, sometimes sometimes like you might think, okay, it's very difficult to monitor. So I mean, there are times you need to find out a log analysis mechanism for yourself, like how to read. Like, let's say if you have a large number of clusters, how do you have a large cluster with multiple files stored, multiple Postgres? How do you monitor it? Okay, so you need to quickly find a way. You need to, like, not at that moment, but you need to design some log analysis mechanism in your organization, how to quickly monitor all the logs. Okay, usually I do Ansible, so I run few Ansible commands with some custom stuff. I just like how to read. Do I see this pattern in the log file on all the machines? and where do I see? Okay, so because I prefer Ansible because I deal with nodes which are like 40 plus nodes in a cluster. So I cannot go in like each machine and check at that time. So I just ran that command and quickly see where the things are. So during the execution, upgrade execution task, right? There are two key things which are done. Backing up the Postgres, restoring the backup. It's internally done. You won't even notice that. Upgrading the taking the backup of the Postgres, then updating it, restoring it, and the updating the file store. Okay, so at that time, just so you have to like closely watch the Postgres database as well as the file store. So how, I mean, it will, I mean, like, it's very difficult to explain, but I was thinking about like how to explain. So what you do is like in the tab admin controller, you have the job IDs and you have the timings. Okay. And what you do is open a tab admin controller log and see at what time this particular job was triggered. Okay, let's say it says updating the Postgres database. Okay, and see at what time note that time in tab admin controller and just quickly go back to your Postgres logs. Okay, the repository logs, and see at that exactly same time you will see a reference of the ID or the CUID of the job, LUID of the job. Okay, you will see a reference there. So start analyzing the Postgres logs for them. Okay, because the reason why I'm focusing on this step is because if the Tableau upgrade Tsm command fails in this phase, then you cannot recover. It will go. The only solution after that is you have to uninstall everything. Okay, so the reason I'm focusing, the reason is because we have fixed issues multiple times, like when the upgrade Tsm is running, and there are times we found at the back end the Postgres is having some issues. It was going up and down. It was not able to start. And when you see it in the logs, you can go quickly at the back end, and then you can see what is the issue, and you can fix the Postgres, like a process related. You can fix any Postgres related issues. Okay, so then after this is the finalizing steps in the command. Okay, the finalizing steps, so what they do is rebuild the indexing, reconfigure the config files on all the nodes, and what else? There are a few other things which it does. Okay, so you can, when you see the logs, it will give you what exactly it is doing. So on the screen, I think it shows as a post upgrade validations or configurations like that. So this is also a crucial step. There are times initially our upgrade failed in this step, also rebuilding the search index. Okay, so later on I used to always like monitor the search indexing part, because the environment where I work, search index takes like 30 minutes. So I have to carefully watch that part. Okay, so there are times the search index fails due to Java memory. So initially fix it, like there during the upgrade time. The moment it fails, there are 3 to 5 retries. Okay, so you have time during that, while the command is while the command is running, you have 15-20 minutes to take an action. If you don't take the action in that, your upgrade command will fail. So mostly, yeah. So this, so when this upgrade process is running, so primarily there are 4 to 5 processes which you need to properly monitor. It won't be like you don't have to monitor all the processes at the same time. It will be always like one process at a time. Okay, so if it's updating the Postgres, it will be you can just focus on the Postgres. If it's updating the file store, you focus on the file store. So mostly my analyzing of the logs revolve around file store, Postgres, search index, and tab and bin controller, and few other. There are multiple processes. So like sometimes gateway also causes an issue. So just primarily focus on these like 4 log files. Also monitor your environment when the upgrade is going on. When I say upgrade, monitor your environment, that is like monitoring the memory, CPU, and the storage stuff. Okay, that is also really important, because there are things sometimes when these commands are running, it spikes up the CPU, spikes up the memory. So the thing is, like, it all depends upon your how much data you have. Okay, so I deal with like 2 TB, 3 TB backup file size. Okay, so that time I've always faced like memory related issues, memory CPU related issues. So I have to be very careful with that. Okay, now quickly the last topic, the last section, the category is what if the upgrade fails. Now, okay, now that's you have done all the things and your upgrade fails. Okay, now what to do? So one of the important thing is you need to have a backup restore plan in your strategic upgrade. Like when you design a strategic upgrade plan, right, you need to have your backup restore stuff in that. Okay, you cannot ignore this. Okay, so this because the moment it fails, I've seen people getting into a panic mode, not just with Tableau, but how do you communicate with the users? How do you deal with it? So you need to have a proper backup restore plan. Be ready with your install scripts. Okay, when I say install scripts, it's not just like Tableau RPM. Like, always try to customize your Tableau installation. You have there are n number of products in the market. You can Ansible, Terraform are primarily used. I love Ansible, so all our installations I try to do it with Ansible. I'm just giving as an example, installing a 30-node cluster. Okay, if you do it manually, it takes a long time. If you do it Ansible, I think maximum 30 minutes. Okay, installing an RPM file. Be ready with your customization. Try to automate that as well, if possible. If you have a small environment, then you don't have to do that much customization, right? But if you have a big environment, be ready with your SSL certs. If you have SAML certs, be ready with those things. If you have, you will have your custom configurations, right? Be ready with that. Don't be in a state that upgrade failed and then you are trying to figure out all these things. Okay, because sometimes we keep all these things on the server and you run the obliterate command and everything is gone. So be ready with all these things. Try to customize it. I encourage that because it helps saves a lot of time and a lot of human errors which occurs during this thing. Okay, I think bang on time, I guess.
Awesome, Rijo. Thank you.
I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
So it's very difficult to explain like all the things, right? It's a big effort when it comes to upgrade. I know like a lot of organizations don't want to take that risk and effort, but we really encourage. And in our organization, where I've been working with Mark, he's like proactive on new features. He wants that new feature. So he deals with the business. We want new features, and we do whatever we can to get a feature there in the product. Thank you. Over to you, Mark.
All right. Let's get back to QA. That's good. We have 15 plus minutes for the QA. Rijo, if you look at the QA button, there are a bunch of questions. Some of those already had more comments, answers from those participants. That's great. This is a community events. Maybe you can start on the top to see if you want to add anything else. Rijo, can you start?
Yeah, okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just start from the first one. How do you monitor the file store, Postscript, and search index? Okay, so when you go to the log file location, you have a separate directory for each of them. Okay, now there are multiple files, so understand what each file does. Okay, so I'll give you. I don't have a file store log to show you, but there will be one log would be the starting of the file store. Okay, usually it would be the startup log, okay, which will tell you when the process started, what are the things happened. Okay, the second is the controller log so controller logs will be there for all the processes. Okay, so controller log is like it won't have that much details. So some processes will have a lot of information in the controller log, but some won't have. So figure it out before what logs, like how your log works. Okay, so have like backgrounder, giving you an example of backgrounder logs. Okay, backgrounder has a log called backgrounder, then it has tab protocol RC log, then it has JDBC protocol server log. So based on that, so you have to figure out the pattern. Okay, so like how it is going, which it is. So this is not just like something which you can acquire during an upgrade. This is a skill which you now need to develop over a period of time. Like how I don't have anything handy right now to explain you. That's why I can't explain much about this. What log viewing softwares? There are plenty in the market. I don't, for me, simple. I do it on the Linux machines. I can go to normal cat command, okay, grep command. I try because I narrow down the problem with the timings. Okay, I narrow down. If you just analyze the log files, it's very difficult. It will be in MBs. Our log files are like 3344 GBs. So analyze with the timing. So I get the logs from the timing from when I want to start analyzing, and when it's ending, bring it to your laptop, and then you use your own editor like BB Edit, anything, whatever editor you want, and just put it there and just read it. Okay, so I don't know the other tools how they will interpret it. What I focus on is actually reading the log files, trying to understand what exactly it is going to. How do you document the configuration changes so that they are handy in the new hardware? Referring to TSM Command. So documenting. So again, documenting the configuration changes varies like between organizations. So like I'll give you an example of configurations which can have in any organization. Okay, TSM settings. Okay, you have that. What you can do, you can get those TSM settings downloaded, and then when you get a new hardware, you get it uploaded. But the key thing is, don't just run the TSM configuration file the way it is exported. Okay, open that configuration file, read it. There are few text sections which you don't have to overwrite when you have a new environment. Okay, so usually there are things like when you set up a new environment, if you have SSL, if you have SAMLs, okay, you don't want to get it from the sometimes you don't want to get it because I'll give you another example. The configuration files has the keys, okay, keys of the private key, the public keys, and all those things there. So you don't want to overwrite those keys in the new environment. So when you export, when you take the backup of the TSM configuration, make those modifications. Okay, remove those entries. Remove if you are not doing the SSL part from the configuration, it will not get imported to the new environment. SSL part you have to manually do. So manually configure the SSL part in the new environment, the SAML part if you are, and remove all these sections from your configuration. So keep that handy. If you want to maintain a version, like you save all these configuration. Whenever you make any changes, take a backup of the configuration, make those settings handy, like use any language. I mean, automation, it's up to you, like which language you want to use. We prefer like Python. We write codes in Python and do any kind of modification. And another level of customization is like if you have banners, if you have any color coding in your portal, and then if you have like any third-party settings, like any kind of monitoring, all those things. So like your load balancer, like there can be a number of things. Okay, and I saw like somebody said we wrapped in the install scripts. Okay, I try to distribute all these activities. I don't put it in like one. Install script is separate, TSM, because it will be easy for you to narrow down where exactly the problem is. Okay, storage calculation, I will put it in the once it's uploaded, I will add it to the comment section. It just, what else? Do you find interest, like a few key questions, Mark? Just let me know. Just going through it. Are you familiar with any security updates on 2021 that can affect the environment? I don't know what exactly you mean by that. If you are referring to security vulnerability, then I don't have it handy. How do you handle extract, refresh alerts? Currently, alerts are sent to person that own the data source, and scheduling if the person is on vacation. You either you use a custom vSQL, you use the vSQL alert thing, or what you do is instead of the email instead of the individual email, add in the user's profile, add a group email. Okay, configure the group. I mean, I know like it cannot be done if in organization, if your authentication mechanism is through email, then you cannot configure it. So try to configure in the platform. Whenever you try to design and configure the Tableau, design it in a way that you can leverage all the features. So I never design anything based on email address where the authentication is happening with, because every organization there will be an ID. So there will be a user ID which try to authenticate. In your authentication mechanism, try to make sure that you are authenticated through user ID, never through email address or anything like that.
Actually, Jordan has offered a solution which I like. This is a question which I don't have a good answer. I like Jordan's answer. It's for Jordan has a small numbers of critical extracts having workbook with a data-driven alert to send out separately. Actually, this is a smart idea. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, this is the one thing I struggle, to be honest with you. We try to develop our own mechanism. I don't have an easy way yet. I'll try Jordan's approach. Thank you, Jordan Woods.
I'm facing the issue of Tableau upgrade doesn't recognize the Tableau location. If its default location during the upgrade is directed. So regarding that location, all those things, right? This is where so when I categorize my phase, the sections, right? There are 3 phases. So the first, this activity will be done in the first phase. So all these related to where the location. Mostly it's an environment variable. You need to find out the environment variable, which there are 4 environment variables which Tableau looks, one for the TSM, one for the location, one for the home directory. So see that environment variable, and either you can manually mostly you have to, if you are facing this issue, you have to manually update that environment variable. There is one improvement, changes to upgrade. Yeah, that's there. So the question was, there were any improvements, changes to upgrade scripts from 2021? If yes, could you? Yeah, initially there was no the moment like when I was in 2019, right? So if the moment you run the upgrade tsm command, it gets, if that fails after 5 minutes, then there was no initial pre-check activity. Okay, so the moment, if within 5 minutes, if your upgrade tsm fails, gone, your whole upgrade was gone. So Tableau has drastically improved that. So now you have a 15-20 minutes when you initially, after you run the upgrade tsm command, it do all the collection checks. During that time, if your upgrade fails, it will revert to your previous state. That is called, the right word is that pre-flight check thing. Yeah. Can we use REST API? Definitely. You should always use it. It has like plenty of features. Try to explore. We do a lot of things with the APIs, which you can't think of. Most of our scripting, everything is done through APIs. Okay. What option do you suggest we'll take the last one more question. What option do you suggest to automatically refresh and extract on Tableau server as soon? REST API, but just design something where like you need a trigger. Okay, when to trigger that API. Okay, so create a custom script or maintain a small database where you will have the trigger point, which will tell like when the API should be triggered. I think we are about to finish.
Ziwei has a question about extract refresh. When we say refresh means run the schedule, using REST API to run the schedules.
Yeah.
If it's for upgrade testing, we always try to run all the extracts at once, so making sure analyze the failure rate compared with production. So in this case, we just use REST API to call extracts run once. Does it mean all the extracts will be running at the same time? Just otherwise overload data source. So we kind of split into multiple batches to run that. Okay.
Or, I mean, if you don't want to run all, at least the ones which you have, like you need to script it. Okay, you cannot just like go plan it. So script it, and yeah. Another important is like it's not about just running, as Mark mentioned earlier. Sorry, it's about analyzing post running. So.
Okay, there's a suggestion. If upgrade fails and restore is needed, always check the status of your license. Often they got removed and need to be reactivated when the TSM. Good recommendation. Yeah, thank you. Do we any other questions? We pretty much got to the bottom of all the questions. We have a couple more minutes left. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Rijo, for your time and your knowledge sharing. And thank you, everyone, for your participation. And upgrade has been a difficult topic. I remember maybe 2+ years back, maybe almost 3 years back, when the TSM was out, we talked about TSM upgrade. Okay. Of course, for those customers using online, you don't have this issue anymore. You're lucky. But for the rest of us, we still have our own servers. Yeah, we do need to upgrade to enable new features. But overall, is compared with many other systems, I find that Tableau server upgrade is still more controllable, more practical. We do on one server, we upgrade at least twice a year. I think that's practical enough, twice a year. The more often you upgrade your server, the more opportunities you can identify and solve your environmental issues. Actually, less issues overall you will have. That's my experience. There's another Alex recently upgrade to 21.2 Oracle driver cost issue. Thank you, Alex. We will see. We're going to upgrade 21.2 in about 2 weeks.
Okay, so when you just to answer that question, okay, because, so if you found that issue, okay, there will be issues, okay, but the key thing is like where you are finding the issue. Are you finding that issue in the production environment once you do the upgrade? Okay, then that means your testing failed. Okay, if there is a problem with the driver and when you run the extracts, okay, when you've done all the extract, or when you run manually run, or when you script your extract run in your DR environment or in your test environment, this thing should be caught. So if you are seeing it in the production, then either your test case was failed or your analysis of the testing was not proper. So there will be like with each upgrade, there will be driver change. So Oracle drivers change, even the Postgres repository. Okay, the Postgres repository version changes. Earlier, Postgres was used to communicate through ODBC. Now they changed it to JDBC. So such kind of things you can either you can get it, you can. Sometimes it's easily available on the upgrade document, but if it's not there, then you can easily capture all these things in your testing page.
In Alex's case, he found this in the pre-test. I guess just reinstall a new driver, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, Oracle, most of the times, Oracle drivers are inbuilt with the Tableau product. So I never installed any Oracle client, okay, unless earlier there were times when I had to install Oracle clients if I want to communicate with an SSL-based Oracle. Now Tableau has enabled the SSL-based Oracle. So you don't even have to install any client, or it's all there. There is no driver or anything. It's jar file. You just keep it in the jar file and it will work. And Oracle one is the pretty common one. never faced any Oracle related things, driver thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for everyone's time. Have a great day. This recording will be available early next week. And for more questions, please go to Tableau community. Have a great day. Bye, everyone. Thank you very much, Alicia.